The following program is produced by the Tech Talk Radio Network.
Hi, this is Colin Mockery of Whose Line Is It Anyway? You're listening to Tech Talk Radio. I don't know how it works. It's all magical stuff to me.
Welcome to another episode of Tech Talk Radio. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Matt Jones.
And I'm Justin Lemmy.
It's the first show of the year, 2025. Hope you guys had a great Christmas and a great New Year.
No, we did, definitely. It was interesting. I mean, honestly, I just felt like I was just so discombobulated this entire holiday season, forgetting to wrap gifts, and then my mom would send gifts for Eric and my wife, and then I would forget which ones were from her versus which ones were for me, and then the whole Santa thing, and it's just like, wow, it was good when it all got done.
You even took a little trip. You went to some ice thing. What was that all about? I thought that looked kind of cool.
Yeah,
was that the thing at the Gaylord?
No, Cripple Creek.
Oh, okay.
That's where we went. We went up to Cripple Creek. So that's about 2.5 hours southwest of Denver, about an hour west of Colorado Springs. It's right behind Pikes Peak, the tallest mountain in Colorado. So yeah, we went out there. That's where the ice castles were. That's initially what we went out there for, but we decided, since it's a 2.5 hour drive, we're like, let's just stay the night because I don't really want to drive 2.5 hours back. So yeah, it was fun. I mean, the ice castles in Cripple Creek weren't as nice as they were in Dillon, Colorado, which is near Breckenridge. But it was still interesting to go. And then, we just kind of hung out as a family. Cripple Creek is a big gambling town, so there's a lot of casinos there.
Really?
But I'll tell you, the most interesting thing about it was we took the Tesla. So I mentioned the previous show, I sold my 2017 Ford Explorer.
Right.
We got my wife a new 2025 Toyota Camry, but we took the 2023 Tesla Model Y, which is now my primary vehicle. We took that to there, and we have another one of those full self-driving trials.
Okay.
They just released 13.3.2 is the version that they just released. And I tell you, I took it from my garage all the way to Cripple Creek on full self-driving, and it did not fail one bit. It was absolutely perfect. I had charged it to 100% before I left. We got there, we had about 40% left, which was not enough to get us home because obviously, we need at least 50%. So that 40% got us back into Colorado Springs the next day, and then we stopped at a supercharger and just charged it a little bit. It took like 10 minutes to charge it back up to like 60%. And then we just took off from there. But no, it was great. I mean, the full self-driving on Tesla has gotten so much better over the years.
Right.
I love it. And as a matter of fact, we had a friend of ours, or as a coworker of my wife's, that wanted to buy a Tesla. So we gave him our referral code. And the referral code is like you can earn up to $1,000 in Tesla credits if they buy a Tesla. So like if they buy like the cheapest one, I think you get like $250. If they bought a Model S Plaid, which is their top of the line,
right,
you would get $1,000. We got $1,000.
Oh,
they
nice.
bought a Model S Plaid, and I'm like, oh my God. But I'm like, what do I do? Like, there's $1,000 in Tesla credits. I can't cash it out and take cash from it. I have to buy Tesla stuff with it. So I don't, and there's not a lot to buy. So I basically, I bought all weather mats for the entire interior and the rear trunk. I bought some illuminated door sills. So like when you open the door, it shows the word Tesla on the ground.
Oh, that's cool.
And then I'm going to get probably 6 months of full self-driving. On the way back, we were driving, we were basically in Denver Tech Center, South Denver, and driving on the freeway, lots of cars on the freeway. And there was some complete idiot in a beat up old truck towing a flatbed trailer with a bunch of rocks that were left over from whatever they were hauling.
No.
And the rocks were bouncing off the trailer, and it came up and it took a tiny, not a whole crack, but just a little nick off of the windshield, just a tiny little nick, and then it also hit the hood and took off a little bit of paint off the hood. And I'm just like, you got to be kidding me. So I know, because I was driving and I was on full self-driving mode, and I started hearing this tick, 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 just little tiny things, and I'm like, what's that? And I look up ahead and I see this guy, and I immediately took control, and the full self-driving disengaged, and it was like, what happened? Full self-driving disengaged. And I just floored it. But I tell you right now, as soon as I passed that truck, the people behind me, they were swerving left and right because that guy's car was just, or the trailer was just dropping rocks.
Why didn't he tarp his load? I mean, that's
well, it wasn't even a load. It was a flatbed trailer, empty, but it had leftover pebbles from whatever he was hauling. And when it would hit a bump, those pebbles would shake off. That's why they tell you when you're going to haul something in a trailer, sweep your trailer before you hit the highway.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Get rid of this stuff. I mean, this guy was an idiot.
I thought it was cool. I left work the other day here at KGVY, and I remember looking at my tire, thinking, "Man, that looks low." And then I get in the car and I start to drive, and as I turn on the La Cañada, I get the indicator. It says 9 pounds of pressure in the back left tire. So I pulled over. I just said, I've got a one of those air pumps. They have to plug it into the back 12 volt. I have to reach that thing around and plug it into the tire. And it took me about 10 minutes, but I got it back up to 40 PSI. And I thought, okay, this is going to be good. I could now drive to Discount Tire because I got the warranty on the tires, the whole bit. And I started driving. And I noticed that it really wasn't dropping that much. I got all the way to my Discount Tire, which is on Ina, northwest side of Tucson. And, they ended up patching it. It was just a nail that was in that. But you got something that made me think, I wish I would have had this because it's a little less bulkier to carry and you don't plug anything in.
Yeah. So I picked up this little handheld portable air pump. It's by AirMoto, and I got it on Amazon. I want to say it was like $69 off the door, but it fits in the palm of your hand, and it's very nice and portable. You can just pop out the little stem, you screw it into the base, and then you can actually inflate any tires up to 100. I think it's 150 PSI.
Right.
So you can just set your PSI, hit the button.
Oh, I like
and
that.
It will just start pumping.
So wait, you can tell it's 42 PSI.
Yep.
It will stop when it hits the 42?
Yep. Absolutely.
Oh, that's
It'll stop
great.
when it hits the 42. And this is great because, I mean, like the Tesla is so super heavy. I mean, those cars are small, but with the battery packs, that car is over a ton.
Yeah.
And to be able to inflate the tires of a Tesla with a little tiny handheld device is amazing.
How much was
I
that
also
thing?
have, Eric's little electric scooter, our bikes, my electric scooter that I got for Christmas. We'll talk about that later. I mean, all these things. This thing for $69 was amazing to
That's
find.
a great deal. I think I bought mine that plugs in for $45. So for 60, I like the fact that you could set the PSI and not have to I had to keep like staring at it, waiting for it to get to that.
Yeah, so it's by AirMoto. 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 It's a tiny little handheld pump. It's really, really cool.
We'll put the link up on our website. Now, I know you've been working on something as well in your TV room, but so has Matt. Matt, you kind of been doing the same thing, and you did something that I was looking at this week, but then I thought, is it really kind of maybe I shouldn't get it? Soundbar technology.
Yeah.
Yes.
For our lovely listeners, I can make a good comparison between soundbars and your traditional home theater setup. In my basement, in our home theater room, I've got 6 speakers mounted in my ceiling. I have 2 10-inch subwoofers to your traditional receiver. It is the equivalent of being in a movie theater. It's awesome. I've had a couple of different soundbars, but we decided to splurge for Christmas and replace the ones that we had. I went to Best Buy. I raided the tech graveyard and traded in a whole bunch of old equipment.
Wait. Hold on. What do you mean traded in?
Yeah, what's that?
Okay, so I discovered this. Best Buy for the past few years has had a trade-in program.
What?
Where similar to other sites, it needs to be able to power on, run off battery, charge, preferably not have a shattered screen, your usual checklist of when you trade in a device. But I was trading in tablets, laptops. They limit you to a maximum of 3 devices per calendar day. But I was able to you go in, and when you walk in, you're just like, hey, I'm here for trade-ins. And they're like, oh, okay, go talk to this guy. And the dude took me over to computing, and it was, okay, give me the model, get the specifics, punch in the serial number, get your ID. They check it, and you just trade it in.
I had no idea they did that.
Yeah, I didn't either until it was like, oh, you can trade stuff in towards this. And I
I've
was
been
like,
letting Eric just tear apart my old laptops. I should have just traded them in.
and honestly, like the trade-in process for 3 devices took me 10 minutes.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
The only thing you have to, it's supposed to come with a charger and cable. So like laptops comes with a laptop charger, and my tablets was USB plug-in, USB cable. Anything that's Apple, you have to deregister it from Find My Device, and then go on a website and turn it off there as well. And if you go to trade-in FAQs with Best Buy, they walk you through how to do that. Laptops, I was like, do I have to like do a clean install, factory reset? They're like, nah, as soon as it gets to the processing, they nuke it from orbit, do a clean, do overwrites, do a clean install, touch it up, and then they sell this used stuff.
Amazing. Wow.
Which I thought was awesome.
Do they sell it in store, or do they do it from online? Or
it's online
Probably
as far
online.
as I know.
Yeah.
I don't think it's done in store. I think they actually have like a Best Buy outlet site where they're selling that stuff.
Or they would sell it as a refurb, probably. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's kind of cool.
I traded in a bunch of stuff, and we got the brand new Sonos Arc Ultra soundbar and the Sonos Sub 4. The Sonos Sub 4, first off, is huge.
Right.
Like it's like 25 pounds. The setup was a little wonky. It wasn't quite as smooth as they say it'll be because you have to do everything through the app.
Right.
But honestly, we set up that soundbar for our upstairs, our main level TV, where like I don't want to go downstairs, turn everything on. Like that's just easy place to sit, watch something. That combo of the Sonos Arc and the Sub 4, they wirelessly communicate. You set up a room inside the Sonos app so you can control everything, and it's unreal. It's full Dolby Atmos. The sound beautifully fills the room just with the sound bar, no satellite speakers. I can hear sound coming at me from the sides, sound coming from the rear, because when you finish plugging everything in and getting it together in the app, it's like, okay, do true tone setup. So you tap that, you allow it to use the microphone on your phone, and it starts sending out these pulse sounds from the sound bar. And it uses that inside the app to be like, okay, he's sitting here. Here's how the sound is hitting. Here's how we tune the speakers for all the output. It was awesome. It was like the old Odyssey setup for receivers, but I didn't need a special little mic that plugged in and choose the height. I was just like, I sit here. And I held it like right where my left ear would be. And it just went through. The sound is beautiful. The dialogue is crisp. You can differentiate all the different channels. Like we put on an action movie to try it out. We actually broke it in with Tropic Thunder.
Oh my gosh, what a great movie. Yeah.
Because our Gen Z pseudo adoptee had never seen it. So we were like, okay, we're watching Tropic Thunder. Like this you have to watch this masterpiece of Robert Downey Jr. and Ben Stiller.
Don't forget the end scene with Tom Cruise.
Yes. Oh man.
Not only is the sound beautiful coming out of the sound bar, the subwoofer rattles my couch.
Oh, wow. Is the subwoofer behind your couch, or
the subwoofer? We have the subwoofer set behind the couch in the back of the room,
and then you also have surround speakers too. The 2 satellites.
No satellite speakers with this thing.
Oh, anymore? Okay.
No, it's just the sound bar. Now, the other cool thing about the Sonos is all their stuff works together. So eventually, I do want satellite speakers, and if I think they're the Sonos Era 100s. You just go into the app when you plug them in and everything, and you do add satellite speakers, and it'll walk you through the setup, and it automatically pairs them to the whole system, and it just all works. The subwoofer rattles the couch, and that's without even cranking it up. I am afraid to increase the output on it. It's that ridiculous. That one soundbar matches my two 10-inch home theater soundbars in my basement.
You know, I'm wondering, Matt, with so many people staying home and watching movies, like they'll wait. Because now used to be it would take 2 years for a movie to hit cable, or maybe a year for it to be available on DVD or Blu-ray. That's not the case anymore. And now we can turn around in 3-4 months, have a movie like that's been a great movie. Now suddenly it's available for you to watch at home. Does that make the experience better for people who are staying at home watching this? Does the sound really enhance that?
I think absolutely, without a doubt, it enhances it. Along with so Dolby Atmos and its competitor DTS, DTS's version of Dolby Atmos is DTS-X. Those two are they're the new audio standards for movies coming out. It's what you're experiencing in theaters themselves. It's tuning the speakers to truly acoustically fill the space. So the soundbar, traditional soundbars, the ones we've had for years, just had speakers that threw it out the front.
Right.
Dolby Atmos soundbars throw sound out the front. They throw sound out the sides, and they actually have speakers in the top angled up towards the ceiling to throw sound up and bounce it down. So it's actually using kind of like the reverb effect to simulate that full surround sound feel to it.
If you had the satellites, you could put them behind you. They do satellites now that are wireless, right? Does that take anything away?
No, honestly, there's zero delay. And if with some of these TVs, so the way you connect it is via HDMI to, for older TVs, it's called ARC. Newer TVs, it's called EARC. ARC is the audio return channel. The E just stands for enhanced, which is allowing it to utilize these new sound standards, Dolby Atmos, DTS-X, along with features for the TV itself, like variable refresh rates, or the new visual standard, which is Dolby Vision, providing more robust, more bright and true depth of color, truer blacks, brighter reds, cooler blues, things like that. So for example, my TV upstairs is older. It uses Arc. If there is a mismatch between what you're seeing and what you're hearing, you can actually go into the app and do what's called an audio delay setting. So you can you can actually kind of increase it a bit so the lip sync actually matches what you're hearing.
Oh, wow.
And as for the satellites, like I said, with like the Sonos Era 100s, they're wireless. So you just pair it to that system, put them where you want, and boom, now you've got true surround sound, if that's what you're looking for, which is going to be a little further down the road. It really, honestly, like when I was sitting there, I was like, this almost matches my basement entirely. This is unreal. And it was for a fraction of the cost.
When you say a fraction of the cost, I mean, yes, I'm sure it probably was, but Sonos, just, don't get me wrong. Sonos is really, really good quality, but
top end
are extremely expensive.
They are. And there was a reason I went this way. We had a previous soundbar up on that TV when we first kind of configured that room. And it was just like a simple Vizio, like 2.1, a wireless subwoofer, your traditional soundbar that just threw it out the front, and it was plugged in via the optical cable. Well, at one point we were using that room more. So I was like, well, if we're going to use this more, I want to enjoy it more. Like, yes, we have the Uber setup downstairs, but sometimes it's like, I just want to sit on this couch and watch something and be done. Food's coming, whatever. So I bought a Hisense Dolby Atmos soundbar with 2 wireless satellite speakers and a wireless subwoofer. And I got it on sale. It had good recommendations, but a couple of days in, I started to notice an issue with it, where we'd be watching something and the display on the front of the soundbar would display software cleared. And it turns out that that's a known issue and there's no fix right now. Hisense isn't doing anything for it. There's no firmware update. There's no way to fix it. And what happens when that software is cleared is it deletes the pairing with those rear satellite speakers and the subwoofer. So you've got this great sound, and then all of a sudden it gets really, really tinny, and you have to go back and manually put all those speakers back into pairing, manually put the subwoofer back into pairing mode. And sometimes it'd be like, okay, I'm going to pair with the subwoofer. The subwoofer is good. I'm like, what about the satellite speakers? Nah, they said some things. I don't want to talk to them right now. So I'd have to go through the whole process again.
Oh, wow.
My record was doing it 4 times because I paired it. And it was like, all right, I got the subwoofer and the left satellite speaker. I'm like, we're not there yet. Do it again. Satellite speaker on the right and the subwoofer. I'm like, we're not there. All right, how about both satellite speakers and not the subwoofer? I'm like, dude, this is not a negotiation. I am going to yeet you into the wall unless you work this time. So when I was talking to my wife about replacing it, she was like, if you're going to replace it with something that works, that's not going to frustrate you, so we can actually enjoy it, and that's going to last for like 5 to 10 years. I was like, well, I know what brand I'm going to. And yes, it was expensive. The subwoofer plus the soundbar together is, to be honest, it's around $1,600.
Oh,
I was
wow.
able to do that right now because I traded in enough stuff to basically get the subwoofer for free.
Oh, wow.
The thing is, like anything else with tech, you get what you pay for.
Oh, yeah.
Because the Hisense, I got it for $220. And I was like, a Dolby Atmos soundbar for $220? Sign me up.
No. No, it doesn't sound like it was a good deal. I'm wondering, okay, so quick question. You watched Tropic Thunder. What is the best movie to watch with a great sound system at home? Because I have one that's one of my favorites.
Justin says Top Gun. I'm going to say Dune Part 1 or Dune Part 2.
Okay. I haven't seen either of those.
Oh, you're breaking my heart,
wait,
Andy.
I saw the original. The original was Sting. You know?
You've not seen Top Gun?
Oh, I've seen Top Gun. No, I haven't seen any of the.
I was about to just be like, you know what? I'm done. I'm out.
we would both quit right there. Just be like, well, kids, this show's wrapping early.
One I liked, Raiders of the Lost Ark. That's a
classic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's a great movie,
especially with the John Williams soundtrack in the background.
So good.
The thing about Dune 2 is Dune Part 1 and Part 2 are both phenomenal movies. They're I have my issues with some deviation from the source material, but I'm a purist. But the sound matches the visual scope of that movie, which I think was really important. There's this one great scene in the almost really early in Dune Part 1 where you see the Guild Trade starship way up in orbit around planet Caladan, which is home of our protagonist, Paul Atreides. There's this big hollow tube, and you see this itty-bitty little white dot come out of it. And then the next scene, we are on Caladan, and we see this little white dot landing, and that white dot is bigger than a house.
Oh, man.
And you see this thing landing, and like the bass is shaking the room, the music is swelling, and it just provides this amazing sense of scope. The shot is meant to make you feel small. It is made to make you realize that there is a scope and magnitude in this universe that our brains cannot comprehend yet. And the music and the sound matching that is just, chef's kiss. If you really want to kick in a sound system and be like, all right, let's see what this has got. Put in Dune Part 1, put in Dune Part 2, crank it up. 2, they're summoning a sound worm with something called a thumper.
Oh, man.
And the bass, when the thumper hits and you feel the bass, you feel that bass in your chest.
Bass drop.
Do you think maybe it could enhance a Hallmark movie that I could get a little more?
Up.
The only thing that could enhance a Hallmark movie is a flamethrower to burn the Hallmark movie down.
Yeah.
Andy, we've been down this road before. Please don't make me pull out the heavy flamer and take you apart.
All right, listen, we got to take another quick break. We'll come back coming up in just a bit. I want to talk about Justin's setup. He's changed something. If you've been watching the video, you've noticed it. We're going to talk about how he did that. You did the same thing pretty much, Matt. And I think a lot more people are going to be doing that. Make your home a theater. Why not? We'll be back with more of Tech Talk Radio. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Matt Jones.
And I'm Justin. Let me find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Tech Talkers. We'll be right back.
And now, back to Tech Talk Radio.
So I also took on a project, over the holidays. I had a white elephant gift exchange, and I ended up winning a professional quality dartboard. I think I talked about that one of the shows.
Yeah.
It's a bristlebored dartboard with, steel tips, and I put it back in the corner over there. But with that position where it's at, it was really close to my old TP Casa LED lights and the Japanese lamp that we had. And Misa was like, I really don't like this. And I'm like, this gives me an idea. So I went out and I actually purchased the whole setup, the Govee TV LED lights. So there's LEDs all around the back of the television. And then what they call it, I think it's called Dream Theater.
Right.
And you can connect other lights. So I bought these little LED lamps sit off to the side of the television, and they also connect to the Govee LED lights on the back of the TV. Now, you're probably wondering, well, how do the LEDs know what's on the television to change the light? On the top of the television, there's a little camera that sits on top of the television and looks down at the screen.
Oh, wow.
And then you calibrate it, and you tell it where the positions are of the screen, so then it knows when and where to change the LEDs. not only do I have the behind the TV LEDs and the side lamps, I've also got 2 new LED lamps that are going to be coming in that I'm going to put on the back walls that are also going to connect to Dream Theater. So basically the entire room will change color with what's based on the television.
So now you're watching a movie, and the scene is darkness, and it's like, like Predator or something like that, right?
Sure.
The colors will kind of correspond with what's
so
going
like
on.
If it's a dark scene where it's like basically black on the television, the lights will actually dim all the way down to a very, very fine white dim, just kind of more of like a background filler kind of thing. But it's very, very small. And then it doesn't matter if there's fast action on the screen or what. This thing keeps up within, I want to say it's probably within about 20 to 30 milliseconds.
So it doesn't detract from what you're seeing? I mean, I would think like you're watching a movie, maybe it would be detracting, but it's not.
The first like 5 or 10 minutes or so of watching something, I was kind of like, wow, this is different. Like, but once you get into it, it is just absolutely perfect. And it really enhances the overall theater experience, I would say. You don't get this in a regular movie theater. They just turn off the lights. You don't get all the extra. I like to keep our room dim for movies, but then Misa, she's like, hey, it's too dark in here. So to have this extra LED behind it adds extra light to the room, and now she's totally cool with having the lights off.
Say you're watching Ocean's 11, which takes place in Las Vegas, and I think they're working on a brand new one as well. But when the Vegas lights come up, do the lights kind of on your Govee kind of correspond to that?
Absolutely, yeah. Like if you're looking at like the Bellagio on the left side of the screen, the left side of the TV and this left lamp will start flickering and doing stuff, and then versus the right, whatever, it'll match exactly what's on the screen.
Oh, that is so cool. Now, Matt, you did something similar, and it was around about the same time that Justin was doing his.
I did. So kind of what also led to replacing the soundbar is I was visiting my parents for the holiday for Christmas. Mm-hmm. And, my first day there, my dad was like, hey, we're looking at replacing the TV and the soundbar. Would you mind going shopping with me and show me what I need to get? It's like, sure. You sticking about the same size? And he was like, yeah, like a 65-inch TV, because they have an old school, like big old hutch style entertainment center, which limits the size of the TV they can get. Well, in my experience and talking to people who are much smarter in the AV side of things than I am, I've always been told if you're going to go 65-inch or bigger, if you're going to do a big panel, you go Sony. So my dad and I went to Best Buy and we got them a Sony Bravia 8 OLED TV. And we got the whole thing set up. And before, I had just like a dumb set of LED lights on the back of the TV that I showed my parents back when we lived in the same state. And I would just like cycle through the rainbow colors. So we get everything set up and my mom's like, but what about my backlights? I liked my pretty lights. So I went back to the store and I was talking to the dude there, and he recommended the Govees as well, because they had Govees and they had Nano Leaf. And there's also Philips Hue that has this as well. Govee and Philips both have a solution, which is an AI sync box, which is where I talked earlier about the ARC, the audio return. It carries audio and visual data because it's an HDMI. You plug the cable into this little box, and then the box can go other places, and that reads the data from the video and changes the lights that way. And he was like, honestly, I've done the camera, I've done the sync box, I will always do the camera. It never fails.
Yeah, the camera is so much better.
So we picked that up, went to my parents, I set the whole thing up, and we broke it in with the movie Red 1.
Ooh, we watched that too.
Whoa.
We watched that.
And that movie, I'll be honest, like, it's not going to win any awards, but man, is it a fun watch.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's just fun. And I'm watching this where, like, we're in the North Pole, there are lights twinkling everywhere, and I see the TV doing the same thing, and I was like, man, I'm going to have to buy that when I go home. So I did. I loved how it looked, and when we got home, I was like, I'm just going to do it. I got a $100 Amazon gift card. I'm going to pick it up, and it's the same thing Justin was saying. We had to have, because my wife likes a little bit of light too. and we would have a floor lamp on behind us on low whenever we're watching a movie, and there's always a bit of a reflection. But these LEDs with the Govee are so bright that it lit up part of the room to where she was like, oh, we can turn off the lamp. I don't need it, which was great because the Govee camera was picking up the reflection of the lamp, and like the bottom right hand of the screen was just always orange LEDs. She was like, is it broken? What's it doing? And when I turned off the lamp and it started working, we were both just like, oh, so the camera's like really good.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Oh, that is great.
But looping back for 1 second, the other cool thing I discovered with the new Sony Bravias. So Sony, I didn't know this until I was actually talking to the home theater guy. Sony, because they provide a lot of the film cameras that are used to record the movies, they have patented 3 colors of, they have patented Sony Red, Sony Blue, and Sony Green. So those colors are used exclusively in the Sony cameras, and they're now also used in the Sony Bravia Pixels. So you get the truest representation of what was recorded. And they've also partnered with Netflix, Prime Video, and I don't remember who the third is, but when it detects you launch that app on the TV, it changes the color tuning to a preset, and it'll be like Prime Video preset, Netflix video preset. So the colors and the tuning and everything are as intended by those streaming services. So it's perfectly calibrated.
Oh, wow.
I thought that was just the coolest thing, because I'm always sitting there futzing with it like, oh, I got to up the backlight. Now I got to down the brightness. Now I got to mess with the contrast. And this is like, nah, man, you're watching Red 1 the way we intended.
Yeah, that's got to be what it is. Now, what kind of investment? Like you'd mentioned, you had $100 gift card. What kind of investment, like for Justin, for your setup, and then for Matt, for what you did?
Well, Matt and I have the same backlight, just the LED backlights behind the TV, but I've added, like I said, the 2 side lamps and the 2 rear lamps. I would say probably $350 total.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and mine was, I think, like $89.
Without the gift card?
No, that with the gift card, I didn't spend a cent. It was $89 on Amazon, but it burned my gift card.
Oh, it's the way it works. Speaking about entertainment, I'm going to mention this for this weekend only. That this show is airing this weekend, the first week of January 2025. Apple TV Plus is doing a free weekend, and you could stream Apple TV's library of their series, films that are available on the Apple platform for free. And they're doing this. They started yesterday, and this is running through the 5th, to tomorrow. Free on a device where Apple TV is available. All you need is the app, of course, and an Apple ID. So if you guys want to try that, I don't know how that platform, because I don't have Apple TV, how that platform fares compared to Netflix or Hulu. I mean, really well. Or Paramount. What would be the best platform out there?
That's a hard question.
Yeah.
Because you've got Paramount holds all of their stuff. Hulu holds, when they got fully bought out by Disney and integrated, Hulu holds, honestly, Disney Plus now also has the Hulu library. And they've got all 20th Century Fox's stuff because they got bought out there.
Oh, that's right.
Netflix has a whole bunch of stuff. Prime Video has, all the Prime originals and their stuff. And then you've got Apple TV, which has their proprietary things, and they're starting to buy the rights to more things. But I mean, Apple TV has, they have Asimov's Foundation series is going right now. They've got Ted Lasso, which is coming back for a new season.
People say that's a good series. I gotta watch
Ted
that.
Lasso is just like a warm blanket, man. It's just happy.
Oh yeah,
it is. Yeah. There's no drama for drama's sake. It's just good. The other two that my wife really loves the show Severance, which is a complete mind bender.
Yeah.
That show is just wild. And then the one I've started to get into is Silo, which is some of the best sci-fi I've seen in a while. And Asimov's Foundations is called Asimov's Foundations because it's based on Isaac Asimov's Foundations book series, which is like a collapsing galactic empire. And that show is just money. It is so good.
Now, I'm wondering, with the lighting setup that you have with the Govees for both of you guys, do you do console gaming on your big screen TVs? Like,
Yes.
Xbox,
I do.
PlayStation?
I haven't done it yet.
Yeah, I'm wondering how that would affect.
It would be the same.
It's the same thing. I was playing. It actually won Game of the Year this year. Astrobot on PS5, and I was playing that, and it was matching the same colors.
Oh wow, that's cool.
I mean, the camera doesn't care what you're playing or what you have on the TV. It's looking at the television and determining what colors to display. So it doesn't matter what you're watching.
Does the same go with the sound when you're playing a game, like for the soundbar situations, soundbar setups? Like if you want to play, Final Fantasy or even Fallout,
music mode.
You could put it in music mode and it'll be just as good.
Yep.
Oh. For the soundbar, I don't have to change a thing because the audio return channel. So the sound comes from my PlayStation through the HDMI to the TV, and then the TV pumps that audio signal through the audio return channel to the soundbar. I don't have to change anything. I was actually playing Black Ops 6 partially to test it out and check that, and I heard the guy coming up behind me right before he stabbed me.
Oh.
I was like, I hear footsteps. That would be why. I'm dead now. Congratulations, but thank you for helping me test that feature.
Yeah.
Well, we know it works. All right. We want to know, what is the difference as people look into 2025 for, a whole year ahead between passkey and a password? And Matt, you kind of can give us a little breakdown on that?
Gladly.
All right. We'll be back with more of Tech Talk Radio. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Matt Jones.
And I'm Justin Lemmy. Send us an X at Tech Talk Radio. We'll be right back.
Now, back to Tech Talk Radio.
Hey, what's up? This is Tom Arnold, and you're listening to Tech Talk Radio. They're really great, and I love them. Hey, how about a copy of Windows? Can I get a laptop?
Pass keys versus passwords. The question that has been plaguing many people. We'll start with what a password is. A password has not changed since they were invented, since it was knock on the door and give me the secret password to come in. A password is chosen by the user. Typically, it's numbers, letters, uppercase, lowercase, symbols, and that's it. That's how you're identified. Your password is stored somewhere in relation to your user account. Passwords are not as secure. They're vulnerable to things like dictionary attacks, phishing, credential stuffing, brute force attacks. There are ways to get in there and crack it. Phishing being one of the easiest ones nowadays. Somebody calls you, hey, I'm from Microsoft Tech Support. There's something wrong with your computer. Give me your password and let me help you. Key logging is another one. Rainbow tables. These have been around so long, we could spend an entire show just rattling off ways to steal a password. Passkeys are something that are vastly different now. Passkeys, the full literal definition, is a cryptographic key authentication method that eliminates the needs for passwords by using what are called private-public key pairs. Now, to explain that last part is the really important part. A private and public key pair are two things that work together. Your public key is one that you can give out. Your private key only stays with you. You never give out your private key. So when you go to authenticate, somebody comes in with your public key and says, okay, hey, here's your public key. Does it match your private key? Yes, it does. Okay, now you can come in. Pass keys, that's what they are. And they're stored and tied to a specific device. On computers, it's something called a TPM, a Trusted Platform Module. On mobile devices, it's usually, what is it called? A secure enclave. So when you log into a site and it's like, hey, would you like to store this with a passkey? We'll use a mobile phone, for example. Hey, instead of a password, would you like to set up a passkey? I had that when I logged into the Lowe's app the other day to add my Lowe's gift card because I want more power tools. I'm not sure I should be allowed them, but I want them.
Right.
And it says, hey, set up a passkey. And I'm like, cool. It's like, all right, put your thumb on the thumbprint reader. And I do. And that creates a passkey tied to that device. I can't use it on my computer. I can't use it on a Mac or somebody else's phone. It is tied to that specific device. So when I go to log in, it's like, hey, give me your passkey. And I use my thumbprint. It can be your thumbprint. It can be with Apple. It can be your Face ID.
What happens then if you're like, you've created a passkey for a website, and you've done the passkey on your phone, but let's say you're on your computer and it's telling you to log in with your passkey. And I'm like, well, I don't have a passkey because I don't have a thumbprint reader on my desktop computer. How does that work then?
Usually underneath that is is a link that says I don't have the passkey or log in with password.
Maybe it'll coordinate with your smartphone, then you would log in from there.
You're seeing that more with more devices. For example, like say you're logging in your Apple ID somewhere else. It's like, okay, pushing to your trusted device.
Right.
And then you'll go to your trusted device and approve the login. That's using your passkey.
Kind of like the Authenticator does with Microsoft.
Microsoft Authenticator, Duo, Okta, RSA. That's really all it is just moving. And it's funny. I was talking to somebody about this. God, it had to be like a decade ago. I was like, I'm telling you, at some point, passwords are going to go away and you're going to have certificates tied to your account. And your certificates are going to be how you log in and identify yourself. And here we are, 10 years later. I'm a tech prophet, apparently, because 10 years later, that's what passkeys are. They are just a pair of certificates, which are much, much more secure. You can't brute force a passkey. You can't keylog a passkey, but there's no real way to get that because inside of secure enclaves, inside of TPM chips, that's all encrypted.
Now, I have a product from YubiKey, which is basically a hardware key. I love it because, again, it can work hardware. It's probably for the best type of connection. I think we're going to see more of that as a part of computers. We've seen it as a part of laptops where you have a biometric reader available on those. So maybe we'll see that maybe the norm in 2025.
And YubiKeys also fall on that list of something that's for a trusted platform. It stores it in the memory of that little YubiKey. I know YubiKey is coming in old school USB-A. It's also coming in USB-C now. So if you do USB-C, most laptops have USB-C ports. PCs are now coming with USB-C ports. You could just do that. You can plug it in your phone, dink there, okay, take it to your computer, plug it in because it's stored on that device.
Great stuff. Great explanation of that. So I got to tell you something bad that happened to me, and I am guilty of preaching but not following the word.
What did you do?
Well, so I have on my desktop, I have a 2 terabyte installed in my system, and on the desktop I have a Western Digital MyBook, which was 8 terabytes, and then I have a Seagate desktop hub, also 8 terabytes. And a project that I had, it was around about August of this year, or last year, I should say now, was taking everything from the Western Digital MyBook and organizing it and putting it onto the desktop hub. And I put it in nice order. I've got photos. I've got documents. I've got stuff from the early days of my radio career, audio, all the Tech Talk radio shows from 1995. And the other day I'm at the computer and I hear, and remember I deleted everything off the MyBook once I moved it over. And I'm hearing like a squirrely sound.
Oh no.
Like squirrely, not clicking, but squirrely. And I remember looking at the drive going, wonder what that is. And the next day I go to use it and I see the drive light up and then the drive light goes away. I'm like, what the heck is that? So I unplug it, plug it back in, same thing. And I realized, oh no, I think my drive has just failed. So I went ahead and I took it out of the enclosure, in case it's just the power supply that's in the enclosure. And, got the archive drive, plugged it into a couple of cases I have for testing it out, get nothing out of it. The squirrely sound is gone, nothing at all. So I think I may have lost. Now, the good news is the drives that I have, I had just recently bought myself a SanDisk Extreme portable drive that came with their software for recovering. And I've been using that, but the Western Digital MyBook would crash about 67% in. So the MyBook is going too. So I can't recover stuff off there. I have drives everywhere, but it was all organized. And I'm hoping I didn't lose everything. Make the backups and be redundant. Don't just have one backup, have 2. If I would have had 2, I'd be safe. And I wouldn't be admitting my failure of my hard drive failure. But, It can happen.
I'm sorry, buddy.
That sucks.
Yeah. Now, we do have a question for this week's show. We got actually a couple of questions. I don't know if we're going to be able to get to all of them, but here's one. It said, I'm looking for a printer I can carry with my laptop bag. I just need to be able to print out work orders. Everything is so big, though. Any solutions? And this is from Saurita. So, boy, I don't know. Carrying a printer? Wait, I would just do the work orders before you leave, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I don't even know of anything like that you can carry a portable printer. I mean, printers are big by design. I mean,
I know that
I don't know.
Canon has a Pixma, I think is what it's called, or Pixma, that's supposed to be pretty good. But again, you're not going to put it in a laptop bag. Maybe you put it in a box that you carry in your car, but you don't want to leave stuff in your car because the ink's going to get all messed up. Mm-hmm. I don't know what would be the best in this situation.
Looking at this, first off, I'd like to say for every IT person that listens to this, printers have been, and will continue to be the devil. Mm-hmm. PC Mag actually has an article that came out just last month, the best portable printers for 2025.
Ooh.
The one you just mentioned, the Canon Pixma TR150, is the best general use inkjet portable printer. It's a wireless portable.
Oh, an inkjet. Cool.
It's chunky. But then farther down, now this one's costly. This is coming in at about $520, is the Brother Pocket Jet PJ883, and it is a portable thermal printer. Now, thermal printers is that's receipt paper, basically. Right. But it looks like it's full-sized paper. But this thing is tiny. It is not big at all. It looks like it's about an inch and a half, maybe 2 inches high, 3-4 inches deep, and then maybe a foot wide. And it says thermal paper.
Pretty decent laptop bag, but maybe.
And it says thermal paper eliminates any need for ink, prints via USB, Wi-Fi Direct, and Bluetooth. Surprisingly good output quality, smaller and lighter than mobile inkjets. The downsides are it's pricey, $500, no duh, and monochrome printing only. But if you're just printing work orders and you don't need color, like that could work.
All right. Yep. Here's another solution. So I was just thinking about this. What if you had an iPad or an Android tablet, right? So you got a tablet or an iPad, and you have your forms like Adobe Acrobat. You could then customize the forms right there on your tablet while you're with the customer, and then email them to him or her as a PDF, and then they could print it out. Wouldn't that work as well? I mean,
that's an option. I mean, if we're set on having the physical work order, that's definitely an option. I've done stuff like I had a plumber out to replace my garbage disposal, and all the paperwork was I signed everything on the iPad.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I got an emailed finished copy of it, and if I wanted to print it out, I could do that. So I mean, that's always an option.
All right. Well, for Brett, who sent us that email, that's a good one. Here's one more. See if we can get this before the break. Hey guys, I found and listened to you online. So can you guys tell me which browser should I really be using? There are options, of course, of Google, Microsoft, and the Duck something, which is the best. That's from Rick in Phoenix. I like the Duck something.
Firefox and the Duck something is a search engine instead of Google. It's called DuckDuckGo, but I would definitely use Firefox. Edge, Chrome, Brave, they're all based on Chromium. They're basically the same browser. The one I would definitely stay away from actually is the Brave browser.
Yes.
For security's sake. It has a built-in peer-to-peer element, and you can't control the security of that. We actually, in my previous job, we banned Brave browser across the entire organization.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
All right.
And the thing about Brave is they keep touting that it's the most secure, the most private. It's really not. It's actually really, really bad.
All right. We're going to take another quick break. We'll be back with more of Tech Talk Radio. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Matt Jones.
And I'm Justin Lemmy. Find us on the web at techtalkradio.com. We'll be right back.
And now, back to Tech Talk Radio.
So as we approach the end of the year, a lot of us have what are known as flexible spending accounts or health savings accounts.
FSAs or HSAs? Yeah.
Yeah, basically you put a portion of your paycheck throughout the year into this special account, and it can be used for purchases, medical related purchases, or sometimes flexible stuff like childcare or other things. Anyway, I have an FSA, and we were getting to the point where we're getting to the end of the year, and I had too much money in the account, and it's use it or lose it. Like, you can only carry over a couple $100 into the new year. And so I was like, well, I have already processed all of my, receipts and everything, and I still have all this extra money, and I don't know what to do with it. So I went out and bought the Aura ring, and that's what I'm wearing right here. And it's a smart ring. So it's kind of like, the Apple Watch or the, Pixel Watch or, Samsung Galaxy Watch or whatever. But the Aura Ring is a little bit better in terms of it literally just does that one thing. It just monitors your health. And it can monitor many, many aspects of your health, not only just your heart rate, but it can monitor your stress levels, your breathing, your blood oxygen levels.
How about apnea? Does it do that?
Like sleep apnea?
Yeah, I know that's something the Apple Watch has, and you know
it can do sleep apnea. It monitors your sleep habits. It tells you when to go to bed and and all that stuff too. But it does a pretty good job about it. And this was about I want to say this was like, I think it was $3.99 before tax.
Right.
So it's a little bit pricey, but basically how I do it is you go to Best Buy. Best Buy is an authorized retailer. They have a bunch of like ring sizes that you can try on right there. They have like a ring sizing kit. So you basically try it on, and what they tell you to do is they tell you to wear it on your index finger or your middle finger. You don't want to wear it on your ring finger or your pinky because there's not a lot of blood flow into those two fingers versus the first two. So they say index finger or middle finger. So I tried the middle finger, and I found the size I like, and then I went ahead and just bought it right from Best Buy. You can buy it directly from the website. But if you buy it from the website, you can use your FSA credit card or debit card, excuse me. But since I bought it from Best Buy, I can't use the FSA debit card because they don't recognize Best Buy as an authorized FSA retailer. So what I had to do is just submit a documentation saying this is what I bought, and then they're like, oh yeah, okay, whatever. But
how do you charge it?
Oh, it comes with a little charging dock that has the shape of the inside of the ring. And so you just set the ring over it, and it's kind of like a NFC charging, near field communication, wireless charging on it. But interesting is I did ask the FSA company that I'm with, and I said, I notice here that you cover the cost of the ring and you cover the monthly charge, because there is a monthly charge if you want access to all the features. It's like $5.99 a month or something like that. I don't remember exactly, but they don't cover the yearly. Now this is just my particular FSA, but they're like, yeah, I don't make the rules. I don't understand. But if you pay for the year, you actually get a discount, obviously, than paying monthly. But it's so weird that my FSA company will pay for the monthly subscription, but they won't pay for the yearly subscription, which I whatever. It's just a minor thing. But the Aura Ring is really good. It is waterproof. You can wear it while you're showering. You can wear it while you're washing your hands. I do find that it gets a little bit annoying after I wash my hands because water does get in between the ring and the skin. And so then I feel it kind of slips around a little bit, and then the skin gets really waterlogged after having water in it. So I'm always taking the ring off, drying off my finger, and then putting the ring back on. But the ring does last about 8 days on one single charge. 8
days? That's great.
It is really good, actually. The only other downside I would say is I don't necessarily like their app. It seems to be just a little bit too cluttered. I mean, I came from Fitbit. I have the Google Pixel Watch. I use the Fitbit Pro subscription. Fitbit was just easy. It's easy to understand where you want to go, what you want to see. Aura, it just seems to be filled with a bunch of like, learn more about your sleep habits, or click here to discover how your heart rate. I'm like, I don't care about all your articles. I just want to see the data.
Yeah.
But I tell you one thing, last night, sitting around watching TV, I get a notification on my phone. It's from Aura. and it says, "It is time for you to go to bed right now." And I'm like, well, what does this mean? Because normally it would tell me, "Hey, it's about time to go to bed. Start winding down." Last night it said, "Based on your current heart rate and your stress level, you need to go to bed right now.
Wow.
Turn off the television and go to bed right now." And I'm like, okay.
Where can our listeners get more info on this?
You can the website. I don't even know how to spell it.
I think it's the AU. Is it AURA?
No, it's OURA. So the
Yeah.
website is Aura Ring, OURARING.com.
All right,
Yeah.
cool. All right.
And you can also go visit a Best Buy and you can see them there.
Did you go to bed like it told you to?
I did, and I feel great.
All right, that's it for this week's Tech Talk Radio. Wishing everybody a happy new year. We'll be back next week with more tech. If you have a question for us, drop us an email, techguys@techtalkradio.com. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Matt Jones.
And I'm Justin Lemmy. Have yourselves a great week. We'll see you.